go to busts here. Sorry, let's go to busts. Let's go Heath, Jamie, Dave. Blank will be a bust. Heath.
I hate this.
Come on, baby. Let's go. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm going to say that Trevor Lawrence at the 4 or 5 turn is going to be a bust, because if like there's not a good answer to this question, I don't think, based on ADP. But Lawrence is being picked a couple of rounds earlier than I would take him, so that's the answer. I do think, like we're talking about 4 or 5 game stretches for all these guys, but Fields and Tua's best month or month and a half was still quite a bit better than Trevor Lawrence's.
Okay, so Trevor Lawrence,
Yep.
and is Heath's reluctant call. And
just like 20 seconds ago, I'm buying into the idea of Lawrence doesn't break out.
That's why I said I hate it.
It's cost.
Okay, I forgot who was second. Jamie, go ahead. Bust.
I'm going to say it cost, and that's the only reason I'm going to say it is Mahomes. I'm not drafting him in round 1 in a 1 quarterback league, so it's nothing to do with his performance. He will be great, but is he going to be that much better than the guys behind him, and even the guys that you will make the combo of quarterback and whatever other player that you can get a little bit later? So Mahomes at cost at a round 1 pick.
All right, Dave, how about you? Blank will be a bust.
In 44 drafts since news about Burrow's injury, Deshaun Watson's ADP is 75th overall. I think that's way too high. He's not an early round 7 pick. That's on NFC.
Used to be. He used to be worth that. So,
once upon a time in his career, yes.
Yeah.
I always think, though, for this, and I'm going to be a hypocrite by saying this because it's a matter of where they're being selected. I always like when we get a little bit later in the draft, though, what's the ranking of the quarterbacks as opposed to the overall? Because and this goes to Heath's point about personal drafts versus analyst drafts and ADP and all those things. It's so different for every league. It really is.
Yeah, but Watson's QB9, and I obviously
it's too high. No, totally too high. The call's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish his ADP was more in that group with Tua and Dak and Cousins instead of clearly above it. So that's a little disappointing, but he does bring a lot more rushing potential than those guys, especially Tua and Cousins. This is a guy that can be a 500-yard rusher. Tua rushed for 70 yards last year, which was low for him, but that is something to consider. And if Watson can bounce back, then he's certainly worth that pick. He can just be what he was.
Did we settle on? Is it the Shazer? Is that the name?
The Shazer, that's me.
Yeah.
Sean Hazer. Great. Exactly who I want to be linked to. Thank you for that, Jamie.
I will say, based on ADP, Justin Fields is the only quarterback in the top 12 who is being drafted lower than I rank him.
He's the best value by far. 8th quarterback off the board by far.
Fields.